there's a cam. Hi. Sometimes I'm still confused because my webcam's up there, like still, and this is the new cam, and this is the right cam for you guys and girls and everyone else watching this right now. Hi. I should be live, I think. Hi, Tiffany. Whoop. Nope. I don't want to watch my own stream. No. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? That's the right cam. This one, not that one, this one. Dave, just remember this one. Right? I need you. Uncle Sam. Uncle Dave. Hope the music isn't too loud. Let's see. You're alive. That's awesome. Thank you very much for telling me. Because sometimes, quite in fact, well, you know, doing a live stream might also involve some feedback from you. So, because some things I can't really check once I'm live. And that includes, you know, pretty much the sound levels. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for your feedback. Hi, Toby. This is real life. This is real life. Punch you back 2020, punch you back 2020, punch you back 2022. Like, right now. Yeah, it's live, right? We're doing it live. It's true. Hope it's okay for you. Like, you know, VODs are cool. I get that, but live streams are cool as well. So I just figured, you know, let's do it. Let's do it. Hope you are doing fine, great, whatever, everyone. Hope that's the case. Oh, it's your first live stream with me. Hi, then. And I'm really grateful for you that you subscribe to my channel. Because, of course, that is really awesome. I hope you enjoy my videos. And I hope they can be of help in terms of learning more about the German language and culture. So, yeah. Thank you very much for your feedback. Because that really means a lot. And that really motivates as well. So, thank you. And by the way, great handle. Great username there. Okay. Wie geht's? In German. Okay. How are you doing, that is? Wie geht's? Mir geht's gut. Ich kann mich wirklich nicht beklagen. Ich bin gerade eben erst nach Hause gekommen. Also ich bin noch ganz frisch zu Hause heute. Ich war bis gerade eben noch unterwegs. Und ja, war noch bei meinen Eltern zu Besuch. Und jetzt bin ich wieder hier. Zum Glück noch pünktlich. Ich hatte schon befürchtet, dass ich vielleicht nicht rechtzeitig zu Hause sein würde. Aber ich habe Glück gehabt. Call me Fat Jesus. Hi. Is that the last one? Jack? Or is it Jetch? Jetch? Jets? How do you pronounce that? Is it Czech? Tschechian? Benjamin! Hi! Mir geht's gut. Ich hoffe, dir geht's auch gut und euch allen geht's auch gut. Ich hoffe, ihr könnt mich verstehen, wenn ich zwischendurch ein bisschen Deutsch spreche. Hallo aus Kolumbien! Francisco Lopez. Hi! How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in, Francisco. Is it Francisco or Francisco? Like with a J or Z? Because I think both exist, right? So, what time is it in Colombia? I wonder. Because in Germany it is 10 past 9 p.m. right now. Hope you are having a great time. You know, of course, in relation to the current circumstances, we all have to endure, you know. But apart from that, it's Polish for hello. I'm not sure how to type it phonetically. Okay. Ah, I see. Interesting. Didn't know that one. Thanks for telling me. That is cool. And of course, cheers to, you know, our Polish neighbors. Your Deutsch is cool. That's cool to hear. Thank you. You know, sometimes when you have a channel like mine, I guess, and when you are doing those kinds of videos and filming them, like videos about the language, the German language in this case, I think it can be quite tempting to really speak slowly all the time and really overpronouncing everything, which would not be the case in spoken German. Abhijit Singh Puri has just subscribed. Thank you very much. Hi. Hi, Abhijit. Hope I pronounced that correctly, because sometimes I fear that I'm, you know, butchering foreign names, which I'm not doing on purpose, of course, but sometimes I just don't know how to verbalize them and pronounce them. Dave ist sehr cool. Dankeschön, Tiffany. Aber ihr seid auch sehr cool und du auch, Tiffany. No? Very clear. Natürlich. Awesome. By the way, Punch You Back. Maybe you have heard of my podcast. It's called The German Podcast. You can find it everywhere on, you know, the common podcast apps and podcast platforms, including, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Audible. You know, it's pretty much available everywhere. And if you want to listen to some German in the context of a podcast, that's your way to go. So far I've made 53 episodes, and I think just yesterday I actually reached 10,000 plays in total, which is awesome. So thank you also very much for that as well. I'm really glad that you like it. Yeah. What is your schedule for putting out new videos on YouTube? Usually it's 2 videos per week, one on Tuesday and one on Friday. So pretty much 8 videos per month. That is pretty much my current schedule. Sometimes it might be 1 or 2 more or 1 or 2 less, depending on how much time I have to make videos, because YouTube isn't my first job at the moment. Maybe at some point it might become that, I don't know. But it's pretty much usually 2 videos per week, and 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Friday. And sometimes, you know, an additional stream, for instance, on a Saturday, or like today on a Friday. Yep. It's the German podcast. By the way, I can provide you with the link as well. Whoops, sorry, that's the wrong link. Anchor.fm/the German podcast without the G at the end in the first one. So that, the second one, that's the correct link. That is pretty much the hub page with all, or let's say at least most podcast platforms published there, including Spotify and, you know, Apple Music and stuff like that. And by the way, if you guys like my podcast and what I'm doing in the podcast, feel free to rate it if you want to. For instance, on Apple Music, I think you can rate it with like so and so many stars. And the same is also possible on Spotify, because that also helps a whole lot. So if you want to do that, thank you very much, because that really means a lot, and that also helps the podcast. So yeah. And thanks, Tiffany, for saying that as well. Denkst du, Festivals können dieses Jahr stattfinden? Schwierige Frage. So Tobias just asked, do you think festivals can take place this year again? Basically, in German. It's a tough question, to be honest, because I'm also undecided about that when it comes to those festivals, because on the one hand, I really want to have them taking place again, because it's been a long time, and I just love music. But on the other hand, the more I think about it, especially since we're still in this pandemic, I don't know if I feel so safe about the thought of like 80,000 to 100,000 people in such a close proximity, and in the context of a festival, a music festival, at the moment. Usually I don't mind, because I've been to the Rock am Ring festival, which is pretty much Germany's biggest rock music festival, with 80,000 to 100,000, 120,000 people each year. And usually I don't mind that. I don't mind being among many people necessarily, but in the current situation, I don't know. I mean, it's open air, so, but still, you're in such a close proximity to another. So I'm not too sure. Like, I would really wish all the event managers and everyone who's pretty much making those things happen, concerts agencies, festival agencies and the like, I would wish them so much that it would be possible again. But for me personally, from my personal perspective, I really want to go back there. But on the other hand, I'm also a bit reluctant at the moment, and I'm a bit cautious, I don't know. It's a tough one for me personally. And thank you very much, Tiffany. Thank you. Thank you. A whole lot from the bottom of my German heart, right here. Do you know of any German language live streaming apps? I'm on one, but there's only like 5 or so German speakers. What's the one where you can actually communicate with random people? That was pretty popular like a couple of months ago, I think. I don't know if it's still around or what it's called, actually. Can't remember, but I think... What was it called? Omegle? Maybe? Is it Omegle? Omegle? Something like that? Maybe that might be an option. But of course, then again, it's... I think it's pretty much random people, and you don't know whom you're talking to, So that might be a downside to that. But apart from that, I mean, I guess you can find people streaming on Twitch in German, like a lot of people, I guess. So, but that's about it. That, like, my ideas, like my my knowledge concerning that's the end of it pretty much. But maybe there is something else out there. I guess there is, but look at the screen. Yeah, like, by the way, this is the camera, and when I'm looking here, I'm looking at the chat, so you just so you don't wander and what's going on here. So, but it's an interesting question, definitely. Like, I guess there are also like really language learning specific live streams out there, but I don't know of them actually. Muss grad an die South Park Folge denken mit Omegle. Omegle? I don't know how to pronounce it actually. I'm not familiar with South Park, so I can't really say anything about that. I'm not, like... I don't dislike South Park, necessarily, but I haven't really watched it. Wasn't really my cup of tea, to be honest. But I like Rick and Morty, for instance. Rick and Morty is awesome. And what's the new series called by Adult Swim? Something with solar opposites, I think, because Vuku, aka Get Germanized, he actually showed me like 1 or 2 episodes of that, and it's quite similar to Rick and Morty in terms of style, art style and stuff like that, but by the same team, I think, but it's even more sinister in a way, which is interesting. But yeah, I think it's Solar Opposites. That's the title, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, not sponsored, of course, but just saying that. Yeah, Archive 81 is nice. I actually thought about watching that the other day because, like, for pretty much since Christmas, I've been on a true crime streak in terms of Netflix documentaries. I've said it before, I have to say it again. So far, every single Netflix original documentary that I've watched was perfect. Like, the production value of these Netflix original productions is just beyond. That's setting a new level, I think, in terms of really well-made documentaries for me personally. So, and I love true crime. I'm really interested in that topic from the perspective of the psychological aspect, not because I like what, killers are doing, for instance, and I'm not into that, don't get me wrong, but I'm rather into that, like, why do they do what they do, and how do, for instance, the police or courts, judges, that is, how do they solve those crimes? That is what I'm particularly interested in, basically. So, but Archive 81, I think, is fictional. I think it's not, as far as I know, like, it's a fictional story, which isn't something bad, don't get me wrong. But so far, like, right now, I'm rather focusing on true crime. And but I'm gonna watch Archive 81 at some point, definitely, because the trailer looked amazing, and I think, that might be up my alley, definitely. Wie geht's mit deinem Buch? Like, my book project, okay, what's going on with that, Tiffany is asking. Well, I'm working on it, but it might still take a while, because I'm working on the German version, let me put it this way, and I'm working on something else as well. So, and pretty much both at the same time, so it might take a while, but I hope to get it published during this year, like later in the year. However, once I've finished writing everything, it's written, but I have to really, like, correct it still and reread over it in order to adjust a few things here and there, that kind of stuff, post-production, basically. But then, once that's done, that's cool. Like, that's the biggest part of it. But then I have to find out how to publish it, what's the best way to publish it, doing, like, on-demand publishing, for instance, or a different form of publishing, or whether, and how to get, like, a cool artwork for the cover of it, for instance, because I have an idea how to structure things, how to line out things, and but I have to basically think about that later, and But I'm gonna let you know, of course, every one of you, through a video on my channel, for instance, and of course also in live streams, once everything is done and you can get the book. So it's gonna be a novel, and it's pretty much gonna be a mixture of crime, drama, a thriller, science fiction, and also some, philosophical questions, psychology, many things intertwined, pretty much. But I'm not reveal too many other details yet. Don't want to give away too much. But that's pretty much the outline of that project. But it's very time consuming. That's the problem. And sometimes managing my time is quite difficult, because I have my normal job, and then I have YouTube, which is pretty much my second job. And then there's also, like, the book project and the podcast, and so sometimes it's pretty difficult to, and of course then I also usually, when there's not a pandemic going on, I'm also visiting friends, and doing stuff with them, and with my family, of course. It's pretty tough sometimes, but you know, I'm not complaining because all of that is pretty much my own decision. So I wanted to do and start all those things, so I can't complain, and I don't want to complain. But sometimes it's just hard to really balance everything. So yeah, that can be quite tough. And girls, or boys, or both, who knows? Who knows? Ich verstehe. Yeah, but like I said, I'm gonna let you know once that is done and you can get that book and, you know, that kind of stuff. And then, you know, I also have some other plans for the future. For instance, one of them being getting a tattoo at some point. Don't know which or what exactly, but I have some ideas, but I'm not gonna reveal them because I might not do them, and then, you know, some people might have, you know, certain ideas or like expectations out there or something, I don't know. But I'm not gonna go further into that, but I definitely want to get one. And in the long run, yeah, many other things on my mind pretty much. So I would like to get like my own flat, for instance, not in terms of paying rent, but, you know, my very own flat, which is of course a really big project, but maybe I can actually start thinking into that realm with, you know, my first job and my second job being YouTube, and your help, for instance, your really gracious and generous help through Patreon and PayPal, and of course, you know, YouTube memberships, channel memberships on YouTube and that kind of stuff. That really helps a whole lot, by the way. So maybe, yeah, I would like to go into that realm as well in the near-ish future, sort of, but I don't know. Haven't really planned out more in detail there. I think that I'm not receiving notifications for your YouTube content. Have you activated the bell icon next to the subscribe button? Because there is a bell icon and you can click that, and then you should get notifications once a new video got uploaded. Or what you can also do is join my Discord server if you want to. If you are on Discord, because I have a certain channel there which also posts something each time I'm uploading a new video. Like, it's pretty much a bot posting a new thing, and so you can get informed there and notified there as well. So yeah. Congratulations on the possible upcoming of a tattoo. Thank you. Yeah. Actually thought about that for quite a while, and maybe this year might become reality. I don't know. We'll see. If I hadn't, would I not have received this notification that you are live now? I don't know. I don't know. Because sometimes YouTube just like randomly sends out notifications, even if you haven't activated the bell, I think. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though, but yeah. Best way is to activate the bell, of course, because that way you should be safe. And usually I also announce a live stream, an upcoming live stream, a few days early, and so you can set a reminder on that page, so you might get a notification about the live stream on YouTube as well that way. I don't know. Cyril, wir brauchen noch mehr Channel. Nee, du, ich habe echt genug. Das reicht mir. Das reicht mir wirklich. Ich habe ja theoretisch gesehen, habe ich ja noch einen Musik-Review-Channel. Aber ich schaffe das einfach zeitlich nicht, den auch noch zu bespielen. Und da... Nee. Wir brauchen noch mehr Livestreams, das schon eher. Aber... Ja, ich bin froh, wenn ich einen pro Monat hier schaffe auf YouTube. So, we'll see. Also watch and interact with a lot of his videos, and you will figure out that you want to see his uploads. Yeah, that is also a case. You can train your personal part of the algorithm, so to speak. So if you pretty much keep liking my videos and commenting on them, you know, sharing them with others on social media and whatnot, that also helps your personal feed to show my videos more often. So that might as well, yeah, another way to do it. But sometimes, you know, it's just finicky. Like YouTube and the algorithm can be quite finicky at times. So it's not your fault, of course. I don't know how to use Discord. That's not a problem at all. Don't you worry. Usually I'm streaming at the end of a month. It's not always that way, but usually it's pretty much the last Friday of a month, or like the last Saturday, Sunday, that around that time. Sometimes that can be different, but yeah. And of course, I also have links to all my social media stuff, all my socials in the video description. So if you want to check them out, in case you are on some platforms there as well. Yeah. So my tea, is it? Yeah, I think it's ready. Have I posted that I'm live? I think I have, yeah. Just checking. But I think I have, yeah. I think so. Okay. Cyril, wir brauchen mehr Tee. That's true. You can never have enough tea. That is true. Are many of your viewers fairly fluent? Ken, will you speak more German soon? You mean right now in the stream? Or on the stream, that is. I mean, some are fluent, some not. It's pretty much a mixture. So I don't know, like, that's the thing. Of course, I have also thought about doing a German-only live stream every now and then, like, where I'm only speaking German and not English at all. But I'm afraid that some of my viewers who like to tune into live streams might not enjoy that one as much because they might not understand as much. But you know, I wouldn't mind. I could do that sometimes, or I could have, for instance, Vuko when he does a live stream, or when he's live. Vuko being Germanized, one of my biggest bros out there. Brofist. He, or when we have a live stream together, for instance, we haven't had one in a long time. We definitely have to have one again at some future point. We actually we have a section called 15 minutes of German, where we only speak German for 15 minutes straight. But then again, those live streams are usually slightly longer than my personal live streams, because I'm usually streaming like 1 hour, 1.5 hours around that time. So yeah, ich mag diese Idee. Are you thinking about a large tattoo or something fairly small? By the way, I hope I actually said hi, Justine. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Hi, Justine. However, and thanks for your question. And hi, Mr. Spock. Haha. Guten Morgen, Vlog Dave. Alles fit im Schritt, bitte auf Deutsch. I'm gonna answer your question, Justine. Just real quick, I'm gonna say how I'm doing in German for Mr. Spock 89. And hi, Carl. Thanks for tuning in. So, wie geht es mir? Mir geht es sehr gut. Ich bin etwas müde, muss ich sagen. Ich bin vorhin, kurz vor dem Livestream, erst nach Hause gekommen, weil ich bei meinen Eltern zu Besuch war. Und ich wusste nicht, ob ich es rechtzeitig schaffen würde oder ob der Stream vielleicht ein paar Minuten später beginnen würde. Aber ich habe Glück gehabt und war dann doch noch rechtzeitig zu Hause. Und der Stream konnte pünktlich starten. Ganz deutsch natürlich, ne? Weil Deutsche sind natürlich immer pünktlich und so. Das ist kein Klischee, nein. Nein, viele Deutsche sind schon sehr pünktlich. Meistens zumindest. Und ja, deswegen bin ich ganz froh, dass ich dann pünktlich auch für euch hier war. Okay, so. Aloha. So, Justine, to answer your question. I've always thought in terms of like a tattoo to have one like here or here, like the lower arm. Maybe here, somewhere around that area, but I'm not too sure about that yet. But we'll see. So yeah, Dave already does an all-German podcast. Check those out. Yep, I just said that a few minutes ago as well. But thanks, Carl, for mentioning that. It's called The German Podcast. And just gonna... By the way, all the German podcast episodes will also be published on YouTube. But like many, many weeks later. So if you really want to listen to a new episode, once it's still fresh and new, it's better, it's way better. And I would highly suggest and recommend to listen to them on Spotify, on Apple, on Anchor, on, you know, Pod Addict and similar apps and platforms, because then you can listen to them once they are new and freshly published, basically. Because, for instance, right now I've published on, like, last Wednesday, I've published my 53rd episode. And in terms of YouTube, I think I've only published like episode 30 or something like that. So I'm pretty much 23 episodes behind on YouTube. So that will always be slower, way slower, just so you know. And of course, also it helps the statistics of my podcast in general if you want to listen to it on, you know, those podcast platforms as opposed to YouTube. But of course, that is also possible. That's why I'm uploading them there as well. So, yeah. Either way, I always appreciate if you are interested in what I'm doing video-wise or podcast-wise, you know. Of course. Und für mich auch. Ich finde es aber toll. Alle auf Deutsch. So, Punchy Bag, so I can't really speak German all the way through in a stream, as long as it's not a German-only stream, like a dedicated one, because, as I've said before, there are some people that won't understand everything I say when I only speak German, so please keep that in mind. But of course, speaking German every now and then, that's not a problem. So, and of course, I can tell you how I'm doing as well. So, yeah, if you have a question, feel free to ask me, and I'm gonna try to answer it in German, for instance. No problem. Lass dir Pascals Gesicht tätowieren. Dafür muss ich das erstmal real sehen. Ich hoffe, das kriegen wir dieses Jahr hin. Wir sind ja zusammen auf dem Tool-Konzert in Köln. Der Pascal, ich und der liebe Rick, der Super Flash Crash, und mein Vater, der ist auch dabei. Also zu viert sind wir da. Das wird richtig geil. Ich hoffe, das findet statt. Ich liebe Tool. Ja. Ich kriege das ja immer mit, auch auf Pascals Discord-Server. Ich lese ja manchmal auch so ein bisschen mit. Okay, Mr. Spock, thanks for tuning in, though. I highly appreciate that, and I hope you have a stressless workday. So, see you next time, hopefully. Bye-bye, and cheers from Germany. So, achso, was ich dir sagen wollte, genau. Also ich lese ja manchmal auch so die Nachrichten auf Pascals Discord-Server und finde das ja auch ziemlich cool, wenn sich so Leute über Musik unterhalten. Richtig geil. Aber ich könnte mir auch vorstellen, dass manche Leute dort wesentlich mehr Bands noch entdecken könnten. Weil ich habe immer so ein bisschen das Gefühl, es dreht sich immer so um dieselben paar Bands manchmal. So, was nicht schlimm ist, ne? Also es ist halt immer irgendwie, weiß ich nicht, Billy Talent, Linkin Park, Green Day und so weiter und so fort, Slipknot. Das ist ja gut und schön, aber es gibt so viele gute weitere Bands da draußen, die es sich wirklich lohnt anzugucken. By the way, Punch Your Back, please don't spam emotes or something like that, you know. Not meant in a negative way, of course, but just saying because then the bot will actually mark you as spam. That might be a possibility, so please don't spam those too much. Hope you don't mind. And of course, that's nothing against you personally, so please don't take that wrong, but so, ja, deswegen, ich könnte mir vorstellen, dass viele Leute auf dem Discord-Server zum Beispiel auch mehr so progressive Musik nochmal, also klar hören da auch viele so progressivere Sachen auch, aber sowas wie Opeth zum Beispiel oder Tool könnte ich mir vorstellen, dass einigen auch ganz gut gefallen würde. Und ja, das wäre halt, ich würde es den Leuten gönnen, diese richtig, richtig, richtig coolen Bands auch zu entdecken. Weil ich glaube, denen könnte das auch gefallen. Das, ja. Aber vielleicht, ich meine, sowas kommt manchmal auch einfach mit der Zeit, dass man noch mehr hinzuentdeckt und so. Und ja, ich muss übrigens noch in das neue Billy Talent Album reinhören. Ich kenne ja nur, wie heißt es? Forgiving 1 and 2. Das ist ein geiles Lied zum Beispiel, das mag ich sehr. Wenn der Rest des Albums auch so ein bisschen in die Richtung geht, das ist ja auch so leicht verschroben, progressiv gemacht, ne? Das, ja. Punch It Back, what I meant is, please don't use the same emotes like multiple times in a comment, like you just did. Which is nothing personal against you, of course. That is what I said, don't get me wrong. But YouTube might actually mark that as spam and you might be, you know, blocked for a certain amount of time. Not by me, but by YouTube, rather. So, yeah. Texting and, you know, asking questions is no problem at all. But I think it's better to be more careful with all those emotes and emojis. And using those little icons, you know, in the chat. And of course, it's also better to have just a few of them there because that helps me reading your comments better as well and everyone else, of course. So, yeah. Red Hot Chili Peppers haben was angeteasert, echt? Okay, das habe ich noch nicht mitbekommen. Die sehe ich ja auch live dieses Jahr, die Red Hot Chili Peppers mit meinem Vater. Im Anfang Juli, glaube ich. Ich habe für dieses Jahr, glaube ich, 10 oder 11, 12 Konzerte ausstehen mittlerweile. Ich wäre jetzt theoretisch gesehen Anfang Februar mit dem lieben Lanificate, YouTube-Bro von mir auch, bei Beartooth gewesen in Köln. Aber das wurde jetzt leider schon verschoben. Ich habe es irgendwo kommen sehen oder wir haben es irgendwo kommen sehen. Aber ja, ist auch, glaube ich, die beste Entscheidung momentan halt immer noch. Aber ja, in Köln, meine ich, im Palladium, glaube ich. Deswegen, ich hab viele, viele Konzerte dieses Jahr ausstehen. Also Tool, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nightwish, Beartooth. Was habe ich noch? Ich überlege gerade. Ich habe das alles bei mir in der Küche am Kühlschrank hängen. Rock am Ring. Was habe ich denn da noch? Die Ärzte habe ich noch. Zweimal die Ärzte sogar. Dann habe ich noch ja. Komme ich gerade nicht drauf. Ich habe das alles auch in einer Podcast-Episode gesagt. Und zwar, vielleicht interessiert dich das ja auch. Das war, glaube ich, eine Podcast-Episode 37 oder 42 von The German Podcast. Da spreche ich auch nochmal über Konzerte, die dieses Jahr anstehen und so. Bradley, hi! Oh, sorry, I never knew that. Sorry. I was only trying to show excitement by your content. YouTube is kind of weird like that. Don't worry at all. I mean, just wanted to basically tell you that YouTube might not like that as much, so yeah. But of course, I appreciate your excitement. That is, of course, that is the truth. That is the case. Da bist du auch, ja, cool. Vielleicht sieht man sich ja dann. Aber das wurde jetzt verschoben auf den 23.03.2023, das Beartooth-Konzert. So, Bradley, how are you doing? I'm a bit, I think I'm a bit tired, actually, because it was a pretty eventful day today, in terms of like work and seeing my family and stuff. So, just got home a few minutes before the stream started. So. Ach, du meintest Red Hot Chili Peppers. Ja. Wobei da haben wir ja, wir sind irgendwo, glaube ich, auf dem Oberrang oder so. Also wir haben Sitzplätze. Weil bei Red Hot Chili Peppers ist das ist so schwierig, da an Tickets rechtzeitig zu kommen für den Innenraum und so. Es ist so wie bei Rammstein oder anderen, bei Die Ärzte auch zum Beispiel. Ist halt einfach schwierig bei manchen Bands. Deswegen, ja. Aber ich meine, besser Sitzplätze als gar nicht mehr. Von daher, und ganz ehrlich, ich habe so viele Bands, ich bin jetzt 30 Jahre alt, ich habe unzählige Konzerte in meinem Leben schon gesehen. Ich habe so gut wie alle Bands schon live gesehen, die ich überhaupt mal live sehen wollte. Und immer von vorne, also irgendwie erste, zweite, dritte Reihe. Ich brauche das nicht mehr unbedingt. Also, klar ist das schön, relativ weit vorne zu stehen und so, ne, wenn es möglich ist. Habe ich da auch nichts gegen, aber ich brauche das jetzt nicht unbedingt mehr. Ich weiß nicht, ob das so eine Alterssache ist irgendwie oder. Also nicht, dass ich es halt, wie gesagt, ich würde es halt körperlich und so wäre es jetzt nicht das Problem. Ich gehe auch zu Festivals und so, ne? Also klar ist das irgendwo alles immer anstrengend. Gerade Festivals können sehr anstrengend sein. Aber es macht ja Spaß, von daher, ne? Ja. Ach ja, auch. Ja, cool. Mit wem bist du denn da? Good, it's snowing here. Oh, okay. It hasn't really snowed all that much in Germany as of late. Like, just a little bit here and there for like maybe one day or two, but that was about it. So, yeah. Wouldn't mind a bit more snow sometimes, but maybe that's too late for this year. I don't know. Mit einem Kumpel aus NRW. Ah. Hast du eigentlich Pascal schon mal live getroffen? Nee, auch noch nicht wahrscheinlich, ne? Es ist ja echt was wir noch nicht geschafft haben, leider. Wir wollten uns ja eigentlich letztes Jahr treffen. Das hat dann. Nee, vorletztes Jahr, glaube ich, wollten wir uns schon treffen. Und das hat ja pandemiemäßig halt leider nicht geklappt. Und ja, deswegen. Vielleicht klappt es ja dieses Jahr. Also wie gesagt, spätestens bei Tool müssten wir uns eigentlich live sehen. How would you classify your German? North, South, Central? I understand everything very clear. That's a good question. I mean, I'm living in North Rhine-Westphalia, which is in West Germany, which is pretty much the most Western German state. As you might know, Germany consists of 16 states. It's a federal state. So, and North Rhine-Westphalia is the biggest German state in terms of population because 18 million people live in North Rhine-Westphalia. In German, that is Nordrhein-Westfalen, or abbreviated NRW, NRW. And I'm living in the Sauerland region, which is close to the Ruhr area, with huge cities that you might know as well. Dortmund, for instance, Borussia Dortmund, the football soccer club, the famous one and the big one. That is pretty much close to where I live, rather close. And the whole Ruhrgebiet, Duisburg, Düsseldorf, but also big cities like Cologne, Köln, that is, not too far away from here. And I wouldn't say that I have like a thick dialect. but sometimes I have certain words and certain suffixes, for instance, that I would say and pronounce differently to, or like compared to standard German. But I'd say my German is still pretty close to standard German. But sometimes, you know, I would deviate from that, and I would have a tendency to, you know, say things a bit different. But yeah. Ich will ihn irgendwann auch mal persönlich treffen. Kriegen wir bestimmt auch mal hin. I just introduced a friend of mine to Rammstein. She was all about it, loved them. Then she watched some of Till's solo stuff. I had to explain a few things. Yeah, I can totally picture that, Justine. By the way, just a little, you know, coincidence. If she likes watching YouTube videos about Rammstein and Till Lindemann stuff and what the songs are about, the German lyrics and that kind of stuff, I know of someone who has made a few, like 60, 70 plus videos about that topic alone, especially Rammstein songs and what they are about. And, you know, how to learn German with Rammstein, basically. I know someone who has made quite a few videos about those topics. He may be streaming right now. Just saying. So if, you know, if your friend likes to watch and learn more about German and German metal, German songs, Rammstein, feel free to recommend my videos. That always helps, of course, so if you want to. Und küssen. I lived in Rheinland-Pfalz. That is the German name. I think in English it's Rhineland-Palatinate. Rheinland-Pfalz, which is southern, like it's down south from North Rhine-Westphalia. It's pretty much the state below or under North Rhine-Westphalia. So and in Rheinland-Pfalz, by the way, in that state, in that German state, there is the Rock am Ring festival. It's taking place in the state of Rheinland-Pfalz. So oh yes, we've watched your Rammstein videos as well. Some of my favorites. Thank you very much. Thank you, Justine. By the way, I really like the name. I like the name Justine. I don't know if we have like a German equivalent name though. Justine? I don't know. Maybe I can come up with it right now. Maybe that's the case, but I can't come up with a German version of Justine, to be honest. And by the way, every time I'm reading or hearing the name Justine somewhere, I immediately have to think about Amnesia Justine, the video game. Yeah, my brain. If you know that. If you happen to know that. We've been very into your videos, Get Germanized and Radical Living. Oh, I don't know Radical Living though. Huh, interesting. Might have to check that out. Because I'm always curious about, you know, YouTube colleagues, mates out there, you know, people that are creating stuff, other creators. So yeah, have to check them out. Pfalz. I'm just gonna type it into the chat. By the way, this right here. Wow. What's no? Whoop. That's the link to my podcast, by the way, my main podcast page with all subsidiary podcast platforms that the German podcast is available on, including Spotify, Apple, and you know the usual ones, the usual suspects. And the term you're looking for, punch you back, is Pfalz. It's P-F-A-L-Z or Z. Pfalz. Rheinland-Pfalz. I think in English it's Rhineland-Palatinate, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes it's really interesting to see English versions of German towns and cities and states and stuff. It's interesting sometimes. Neues Volbeat-Album gehört? Noch nicht komplett, nee. Ich habe mal reingehört, kurz, aber ich habe es noch nicht komplett gehört. Aber ja, klang schon mal nicht schlecht. Ich werde es auf jeden Fall die Tage mal hören. Ich muss mir sowieso mal eine Liste machen. Ich mache mir jedes Jahr immer so eine Liste von Alben, die irgendwann erscheinen im Laufe eines Jahres, damit ich den Überblick behalte. Und das habe ich für dieses Jahr noch gar nicht gemacht. Das muss ich die Tage echt mal machen. Damit ich da nichts vergesse. Aber da werde ich auf jeden Fall noch reinhören, ja. Do you know what the song Emanuela is about? I've listened to that song a few hundred times, but I can't get the meaning. Fettes Brot. Yeah, Fettes Brot is the artist. It's pretty much a German rap or hip-hop group ensemble, if you want to. And Emanuela has the chorus line, Lass die Finger von Emanuela. Keep your hands off Emanuela, basically. It's pretty much, well, what is the song as a whole about? It's pretty much, you know, sexual erotic tension between, for instance, a man and the woman, in this case, Emanuela. And the lyrical I basically says that keep your hands off Emanuela, you know, if she doesn't want to get touched by someone or if she doesn't want to be flirted with, you just have to accept that, basically. So, but in a quite humorous way as well. So that is pretty much the outline of that song, as far as I can remember. But I also like Fettes Brot. I've seen them live, actually, in 2009. It's like a great German hip-hop band group. And by the way, I think last year or in 2020, I've made a video that was titled, or that is titled, Top 10 German Songs by German Artists and Bands. My personal top 10 German songs of all time, basically. And one song by Fettes Brot is in that top 10 list, and it's called Jein. Jein is pretty much a mixture of ja, yes, and nein, no. And Jein is pretty much expresses a state of being undecided, and you just can't decide on whether you should go for something or you should, you know, don't do it. You're not sure. And that is what the term Jein is all about. And in 1996, they released that song. It was a big hit in Germany. And it's also lyrically, it's very interesting and awesome. So I can highly recommend that. If you are into rap, hip-hop as well a little bit, in German that is, feel free to listen to Fettes Brot and the song Jein, for instance. Can provide you with a link. By the way, not sponsored, of course, but just saying that. Jein. Songlink kopieren. Ja, nein, Rammstein, yeah. That's the link to the song Jein by Fettes Brot. By the way, Fettes Brot translates to fat bread. The German language. And radical living is more focused on Berlin, the culture, things to do, things to avoid, and the layout of the city. It's also pretty funny and comical. Oh, okay. That sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. Punch you back. And by the way, you know, I'm also open for, you know, collaborations with other creators that are also making videos, for instance, about the German language and Germany, but maybe also sometimes language teachers from different parts of the world that might not teach German, but that might teach a different language. And we could have a collaboration, for instance, about, you know, comparing our languages and how they work. Or you could have like a tongue twister challenge type of thing, you know. I'm always open for that, but I don't know. Haven't really had a collaboration in a long time. because, you know, sometimes it's just really difficult to find the right time. I have a few people that with whom I wanted to collaborate, and we've both agreed to do that, but we both really didn't have too much time for that yet. But maybe at some point it will work out, we'll see. But yeah, that's something that I would also like to do in the future again, having more collaborations on the channel again. So far I've collaborated with, of course, Get Germanized many times, with the Norwegian YouTuber Sunny, who's also a really nice YouTube friend of mine, and I've recorded a podcast episode with German YouTuber and friend as well, good friend, Lanificate, who's making Pokemon style videos and, you know, Pokemon focused videos in German on YouTube. And he's a great guy as well. And a few others as well. So, yeah. One of you old, the first Rage Against the Machine album gets 30 this year. Yeah, that's true. The self-titled album by Rage Against the Machine, their debut album, which, by the way, has an extremely good production. Like, it has an extremely good mix. It sounds pristine clear. It's really well produced and has a lot of really cool crossover songs on it. So, yeah. Rage Against the Machine, love them. But I don't know if there's a colloquial meaning to fettes Brot, you mean? Not that I think of. Not that I would know, at least. I don't know. There might be a colloquial meaning to fettes Brot, the term fettes Brot, but none that I'm aware of, to be honest. I find German has an incredible amount declensions like Korean. I'm a polyglot. I speak French, German, Spanish, and Italian. Wow. Okay. Respect. A newest language is Mandarin Chinese und natürlich English. Wow. That is incredible, actually. Respect to that. To you for that. I mean, wow. I only speak German and English. But I also learned a bit Spanish in school, but I really haven't. I have forgotten most of it, I think, because I like the language, but I didn't really have a potential frequent communication going on with anyone, and that is why I forgot most of that. So yeah. But I like the language, and of course, I mean, back in school, I could choose between learning French and learning some Latin. And I went for Latin because Latin is pretty much a basis for most Indo-Germanic languages we have today in Europe. So, including English and German. And yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, it's a dead language basically. No one speaks it anymore. But still helped me finding out more about, you know, grammatical things and where certain German and English terms are derived from, you know. So fat bread just means fat bread for no reason. Maybe there is a reason. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they chose to call themselves fettes Brot. But it's surely a funny name. That is certainly the case. Then favorite Rage Against the Machine track. Oh, that's tough. That changes, to be honest. I don't have one favorite one. I really like Bomb Track, for instance. Of course, like the usual suspects. Killing in the Name. Wake Up is cool. Know Your Enemy. But pretty much the whole first album is cool. But at the moment, I think it is Bomb Track. I think that would be my favorite. One of my favorites. But it's a tough question. Because they have many great songs, I think. I feel old. A lot of the music I listened to in high school is considered retro. That was in high school in the 1900s. Wow. I mean, you know, nothing against retro though. I love retro. You know, I love synthwave, for instance. I'm a big fan of synthwave music, meaning something like, you know, usually what The Weeknd is doing at the moment, for instance, Blinding Lights, that kind of stuff, that kind of 80s vibe going on there. I love that. I'm a big sucker for synthwave music. So yeah, and 80s music in general. I love 80s music. 80s pop, synth pop, so much great stuff there. Even though I'm not a child of the 80s, I was born in 91, but I just love it. It was great decade for music. And even for some more obscure music, for instance, the later Talk stuff, which was more post-rocky, post-rock-ish, more progressive in a way. Still very, very unique and interesting. Yeah. By the way, Talk, great band. Love them. And I'm really looking forward to the new album by Tears for Fears, which I think is called The Tipping Point. And it's their first album in roughly 18 years, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be released on February 25th. And yeah, love me some Tears for Fears, for instance. I started learning language in the pre-home computer era. No internet, no laptops, no CDs, etc. Circa 1988. Wow. Okay. Not bad, not bad. I wasn't even born back then. There are people who speak Latin. I follow a person who has a whole channel in Latin. Yeah, but it's, you know, it's not a common language. That is what I meant, basically. A commonly spoken language. Maybe in some religious contexts, in like the Vatican, for instance, the Vatican state. But even there, I think they rather speak Italian these days, if I'm not mistaken. But I know what you mean, Tiffany, of course. But still, I mean, even if it's a dead language, it's still interesting, you know. Not that in Catholic schools in Southern California got yelled at all the time in Latin at St. Mary's. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Didn't know that. See, that's what I like about this channel, and this stream once again also proves that to me, is that you can learn something from me in terms of German and Germany, and I can learn something from you as well. And that is pretty much a give and take on both sides, like a win-win situation, basically. And I just love that. I just love that. So thanks very much for sharing your information and experiences every single time in my live streams, under, like in the comment section under my videos, and just in general. I really appreciate that, because I'm a curious person. I like to learn new things all the time, pretty much. My thirst for knowledge pretty much is never satisfied in a way. So yeah. Tears for Fears new album. I think they even released a first single already. I think it's also called The Tipping Point. It's like the title track to the album. I think. I'm not sure, but I think so. Age's wisdom, yes. Let's be old all together. How about that? Wake up, Guerrilla Radio, Know Your Enemy, Bullet in the Head, Born as Ghost, Sleep Now in the Fire, Bulls on Parade, Take the Power Back, Testify, Mic Check. Yeah, so many great songs. Thanks for what you do. I wish I had the courage to put my face online. I can totally relate to that in a way. I mean, I'm used to it by now, of course. I've done that for... Like, the first channel on YouTube that I created was a Let's Play channel, which still exists, by the way. It's called Dave Durden TV. On that, I have uploaded German Let's Plays every now and then. It's still active, but right now I don't really have too much time to make Let's Plays, unfortunately, because I have so many other things on my mind that I want to do. But every now and then I'm still gonna be releasing new Let's Plays on that channel, I think. At least I hope I can. We'll see. And I started that channel in September of 2011. So 11 years ago. More or less, almost 11 years ago. And I think I actually showed myself on cam in a live stream for the first time in 2012, around that time. But from that moment on, it pretty much became a normal thing. And I also have to say that doing YouTube videos and streaming, both of that, has helped me immensely in terms of speaking freely in front of a public. Like in front of an audience, in front of people. For instance, back in school, when I had to give a certain, talk about a certain topic in front of the class, for instance, stuff like that, way back in the day when I was way younger, I would have, not liked that as much. But through making YouTube videos, and of course also, especially through Vlog Dave as well, and the whole Vlog Dave channel, since I'm doing that, and the vlogs on that channel, the videos with me in them, and me, revealing myself in front of the cam to the public, basically. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, it has only been beneficial for me personally. As I've said, it really helped me to speak more freely. It has really, really, really improved my spoken English compared to how I spoke, like 10 years ago even, or maybe even like 7 years ago-ish, 6 years ago. For instance, when you actually watch my very first Vlog Dave videos, I sound way different in them in terms of my spoken English. So I've come a long way in terms of that, and I'm happy for that. Don't regret a thing, to be honest. And I can only recommend doing this, especially if you want to train your ability to speak freely in front of other people and to not be shy about that. But of course, it takes some courage to start doing that. And you also have to keep in mind that once you do that, once you have a YouTube channel, or you run a live stream channel, or whatever, a podcast even if it's just sound, in either of those, cases and situations, you are revealing yourself to the public. You are no longer private, in the sense of you're not acting private in those moments. You're really speaking to a public audience that you might not even be able to see or to, recognize, whatever. And I think some people, when they start a YouTube channel or like a live stream channel or a podcast, they don't consider that. And that is pretty much a big mistake. Because it can get on some people's nerves, I think, because they might not be able to handle being in the public eye in some way or another. And yeah, so that is something that I would say is you really have to keep that in mind. Which doesn't mean that I would, advise against starting a channel. But I mean, especially people with very low self-esteem, for instance, might have some trouble doing that. And I don't blame them. Of course, I don't. But from my personal perspective, I'm really glad that I did this. And I decided to have this channel, Vlog Day, for instance, 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago by now. And all the experiences that I've had through this channel with you guys, for instance, in live streams like this one, or in the comment section, in person even, because in 2017, me and Get Germanized, we had a fan meet and greet, so to speak, a viewer meet and greet in Cologne, where I met some of you guys, and that was awesome as well. That was a great, great day. And I would like to do that again at some point, if it's like once it's possible again, and especially once I'm gonna be I'm gonna go to the USA. I'm gonna go there on vacation at some point, I think, and I'm gonna let you guys know once I know more, and maybe we can have like a little meet and greet there as well. We'll see. Would be cool. But of course, you know, the more you act in front of a camera and you do something in front of camera, the more often you do that, the more you get used to that. Basically, that's also a factor, of course. So yeah, I can totally relate, Tiffany. And of course, do something that you like doing. Don't force yourself upon a trend just because something is trending at the moment and you feel like, you know, I really have to jump on that train and do the same thing even though my heart isn't invested in it totally. That's the wrong way to do it. Do what you want to do, even if it's a niche thing. And honestly, this channel right here, what I'm doing is a niche thing on YouTube. I don't have multiple million subscribers, and I'm very well aware of the fact that I'm doing doing niche content basically, but I don't mind, you know, because what I'm doing is fun for me personally, and I really, really love what I'm doing, and I can stand behind pretty much every single one of my 700 plus videos on this channel, and that is pretty much a cool thing to be able to say for my personal, you know, or from my personal perspective, that is. Your identity is immortalized, yeah. In a way, I guess, but yeah. Were you übernervös? By the way, that's also really interesting. I should actually make a video about that as well, because the term Uber as an increasing particle, basically, or an increasing prefix in front of other terms in English, is of course derived from the German über with the umlaut ü, the U with the two dots over it, which is an ü, das ü. And über usually means above in German. So sometimes it's, it's interesting how, for instance, Americans use that term in some contexts, I think. But I like it, of course, you know. So maybe for the first 2 or 3 videos I was quite nervous still, but then it just vanished because I love what I'm doing, so that also plays a huge role, I think, into that. I'm slowly breaking out of my shell. I've started on the live stream app that I was asking you about. Now I'm becoming more confident. Your story is very, very inspiring. Thank you very much for saying that. And by the way, of course, what I also said, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to, you know, be honest with people. Don't be afraid to be authentic, because, of course, you don't know me in person, but I can assure you that I'm nowhere different on cam than I'm off cam. You know, I'm the same person. It's like Vlog Dave, of course, is a persona. It's not who I am as like my private person, but I'm not, you know, acting in front of the camera and speaking differently, you know, that kind of stuff, or expressing myself in a different way. That's just who I am and how I am. And I really, really want to be authentic in front of a camera. So that is also something that that's important to me personally. Authenticity. Because sometimes you can tell that certain people on YouTube or other platforms they really are fake in a way, in the sense of how they actually, you know, express certain things on cam. For instance, their intonation might be different or seem rather superficial or artificial for that matter, and I'm not the biggest fan of that stuff. So I mean, I guess there are people out there that also like that approach, and more power to them. You know, who am I to say anything against that? But it's not my personal cup of tea, to be honest. By the way, speaking of that, which is, by the way, quite cold by now. So, okay. Whoops. Oh. Sorry that your comment was blocked, Tiffany. That was YouTube. Just unblock that. By the way, Ramasten, hi. And Blue Bilbo, hi. Freut mich, dass ihr dabei seid. So. There's even YouTube videos about YouTube failures and disasters, yeah. There are a lot of them out there. And you know, sometimes when I make videos, of course, I also have like fails when I'm recording stuff. But usually I add them out. Like I edit them out, that is. And yeah. But that happens to everyone, and that's normal. That is human, you know. So, but of course, in terms of a video's flow, it's better to cut that stuff out. Let's see. So Ramasten says, I've really enjoyed your Rammstein videos. Have you heard about the band Einstürzende Neubauten? Their lyrics could be interesting to analyze. Yes, I've heard about them, but I'm not too familiar of them. I know 1 or 2 songs by them, I think, but not by heart. But they strike me as being a very, very artsy type of band, which isn't something bad, of course. Don't get me wrong. It's just their approach, and a very thought-provoking band. But I would definitely have to listen to them more in order to say anything about their songs. But maybe at some point I might make a video about Einstürzende Neubauten, which, by the way, translates to pretty much collapsing new buildings or newly built buildings. A Neubau, der Neubau is pretty much a newly erected building, like a really modern building, that is. And that it's implied there. And einstürzen means to collapse, basically, to crumble down. So it's a pretty cool name, I think. Have you checked out the new Muse song? Yes, I have. I've only listened to it once, though, so I have to get more used to it. It's pretty cool, but it hasn't really grabbed me all too much yet. I mean, I love Muse. One of the best concerts that I've been to in terms of the Rock am Ring festival. I think they were headlining in 2018, and their show was awesome. I mean, I love Muse anyway, but I think like I rather liked the second half of the song as opposed to the first one, but I really have to listen to it more often in terms of, or in order to really have a strong opinion on that song. So I can't really say anything about that with some profound meaning, you know. Hallo meine Lieben. Wer sagt das immer noch? Hallo meine Lieben. Kommt mir so bekannt vor. Yeah, the internet can get quite weird, yes. Chicken Pommes, hi! Hi, yeah, long time no see, that's true. Hi. Thanks for tuning in again. And for remembering me, of course. And, you know, I'm not holding any grudges towards you, of course, but I'm really glad that you are back. Because I do remember you fondly. I do remember you as a long-time viewer back then. So, thank you for tuning in once again. Maybe you also want to catch up on a few of my videos that you might be interested in that I've uploaded in the last 2 or 3 years. Maybe. Would be cool. I would be, you know, happy if you wanted to do that. But yeah. How are you doing? Hope you are doing great. By the way, I still like your name. Chicken Pommes. Okay, guys. A few more minutes and then I'm gonna call it a day for today because I'm quite tired. But once again, I am planning on having at least one live stream each month. And this one was the month, like the one for January, of course. And I also have the will, let me put it this way, to have a live stream in February as well. I'm also gonna let you know about that soon enough, so you can actually set a reminder on the live stream page if you want to, or you can, you know, put that date, save the date pretty much in your calendar or wherever, you know, Outlook and Google Calendar or whatever, I don't know, if you want to. And maybe at some point I might even manage to have like 2 live streams in 1 month. Or maybe even, you know, back in, I think, 2020, I had a little on and off irregular live stream show called A Lonely Walk Through Germany, I think I called it. Where I actually took you with me when I went out and about. Like I went out for a walk here in my region, for instance, near the river Ruhr, for instance. But that was rather in the summer, during the summer, because, you know, right now it's still quite cold outside, and going out for a walk is more fun in the summer, I think, once it's warmer. But maybe I'm gonna do that again, because that was always fun. Answering your questions and communicating, interacting with you while I'm going out for a walk, for instance. So maybe I'm gonna continue doing that at some point during this year, because yeah, that was always a lot of fun. Didn't do that last year, I don't think. By the way, you can find recordings of all those streams in my Vlog Dave stream archive playlist on my channel, on the German with Vlog Dave channel, if you're interested. And of course, you can also find this stream archived, the recording of this stream, on my channel later on as well. Might take a while to get rendered by YouTube, but it should be out there then. So, what is your opinion on Eskimo Callboy? They have exploded into the mainstream recently due to their YouTube content, music videos, and songs. Apparently, they want to enter Eurovision. Oh, okay. That's a tricky one, because I know that like many people love Eskimo Callboy, and I don't really know too much about them in order to be able to say anything about their music with some profoundness, to be honest. All I can tell is that I'm usually not the biggest fan of like fun music, with which I mean like music that is extremely well, how should I put it actually? I don't know. That is like extremely in your face type of humorous, right? It can be great, but I don't know. I'd rather listen to some serious music, for instance, and music that really touches me emotionally, because that is, no matter the genre, whether it's rock, metal, or pop, or electronica, or whatever, folk music, bluegrass. I'm listening to lots of different types of music. I'm a big music fan anyway, so I listen to music very, very often each day. And music that I like usually touches me in a way. It can be funny music, funny lyrics and stuff, but usually it's more thought-provoking songs and sometimes even melancholic songs, which doesn't mean that I'm a sad person, because I'm not, as you can tell. I'm usually almost always, a quite happy person. But it's music with some depth to it that really touches me the most. And so far, what I've heard from Eskimo Callboy, they rather lean more towards the very, very humorous side of the spectrum. And once again, that is no reflection on them as people, as musicians. It's just that I'm rather a fan of, it's hard to put into words, honestly, but I don't know. But maybe, never say never. I'm definitely gonna listen to them more in the future and check them out more. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you actually understood what I wanted to say with that, but yeah, it's no reflection on the band and their qualities as musicians in any way, shape, or form. So please don't get me wrong, because I'm sure they're great and really friendly and cool guys. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on that right now. True German way, write important appointments with a Kugelschreiber into the Kalender from your local Apotheke. Yeah, quite German, yeah. Even though I don't do that, but I can see where you're coming from, definitely, with that statement. You're always welcome in Lahntal. Where is Lahntal? In Hessen. Okay. Lahntal. Thanks for making this live stream. You've renewed interest by me for your channel. Indefinitely remember you as a cool, nice guy. Thank you very much. Of course, that means something to me. So, thank you. Gotchative. I check out some of your YouTube content. And by the way, guys, if you know someone who is also interested in the kind of videos that I make or the podcast that I make, feel free to suggest my channel and recommend my channel, of course, because that always helps a whole lot. And maybe at some point I will reach my all-time YouTube goal that I have, the one and only YouTube goal that I have, by the way, which is reaching 100k subscribers at some point. Maybe. So we'll see. It's not too easy, of course, especially with niche content, the type of niche content that I'm doing. But who knows? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm extremely grateful for, the 47,000 subscribers on this channel already, which is beyond amazing to me personally. It's, yeah. Fun-Music kann cool sein, außer Schlager. Ich hasse Schlager. Ja, also wie gesagt, ich will dir auch überhaupt nicht widersprechen, Tobi. Aber ich persönlich ich weiß nicht, also ich kann Fun-Music nicht so viel abgewinnen, dass ich das jetzt regelmäßig hören würde. Ich habe da nichts gegen und ich höre das auch mal ab und zu mal ganz gerne, aber das ist jetzt nichts, was ich jetzt wirklich jeden Tag hören würde oder regelmäßig oder so. Dafür gibt mir das emotional einfach irgendwie nicht so wirklich viel, langfristig gesehen. Und weiß ich nicht. Vor allem, wenn es Bands sind, die wirklich nur Fun-Music machen, das geht mir dann irgendwann auch auf die Nüsse, ehrlich gesagt. Ich möchte, wenn ich Musik höre, dann höre ich mir auch schon ganz gerne so handgemachte Sachen an, die wirklich auch irgendwie, weiß ich nicht nur einfach Unterhaltung sind, sondern vielleicht auch so ein bisschen zum Denken anregen oder wie auch immer. Das ist eher so das, worauf ich so stehe. Aber wie gesagt, nichts gegen Fun-Music an sich. Ich werde mich definitiv noch mal mehr auch mit Eskimo Callboy beschäftigen, aber ja. Man muss dazu in der Stimmung sein, so ist es, genau. Das ist halt bei Musik auch generell bei mir der Fall. Also ich bin so ein Stimmungshörer. Man muss halt dafür in der Stimmung sein. Also ich sag mal zum Beispiel auf einer Party, wenn irgendwo eine Party ist und Eskimo Callboy läuft und alles ist, ne, alle sind gut drauf und so, habe ich überhaupt nichts dagegen natürlich, ne, oder so. Also dann passt das zum Beispiel auch sehr gut rein, finde ich. Ja. Oder wenn man halt irgendwie in der Stimmung ist, natürlich, klar. Wie gesagt, ist auch nichts gegen die Band oder so, ne. Aber im Vergleich höre ich dann lieber doch was anderes. So ehrlich muss ich dann schon sein. Aber wie gesagt, ich werd mich mal mehr damit beschäftigen, mal mehr reinhören demnächst. Volksmusik, ja. Nein. Just remember to ask, did you ever try any of the candy I sent? Yes, I did. All very, very tasty. I have a few of them left. I shared some of them with my mom, for instance, as well. She also loved them. And some really interesting flavors there. So thank you once again, Tiffany. That was awesome. I'm always interested in, you know, tasting foreign candy, sweets, stuff like that, you know, things that you don't get in Germany, for instance. So maybe I'm gonna do a few, like a video, like a taste test videos with the ones that I have left at some point, if I can find the time. So not promising anything here, but maybe might be interesting. We'll see. Have you ever heard Dope Lemon? No. That doesn't ring a bell. OMG, I almost completely forgot about Schlägermusik. No, Schlager. It's Schlagermusik with an A instead of the umlaut ä. But Schlägermusik sounds like a beater music. You know. Also interesting. I gotta head off. Have a great night and weekend, everybody. Same to you. Thanks for tuning in, Blue Bilbo. You put great work into your videos, man. Have a nice weekend. Same to you, Ramasten, and thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next time as well. And so I have heard your permission to sell an ebook, 100 things you need to know before starting to what? To 10 German. Starting to learn German. Oh, okay, that's what you mean. I recommend your channel to 10,000 clients. You know, maybe I'm also gonna write a book about that at some point. We'll see. And maybe about my experience as a German teacher on YouTube throughout the years and YouTube in general, you know, and what it's like to work as a creator behind the scenes, maybe, because that is pretty much the part that viewers usually don't see and notice, of course, but maybe might also be an interesting topic. Wunderbar. And that pretty much, wunderbar, also sums up this whole stream because it truly was wunderbar, wonderful, awesome, incredible. Because of you guys, first and foremost, because the interaction, a stream lives from interaction. So, and I'm always extremely grateful for your interaction in live streams. When you ask questions, for instance, and stuff like that, I just love that. So I'm really, really grateful. Thank you very much once again. That's it for today. Feel free to check out my upcoming videos in the future. And of course, if you want to, one more time, feel free to check out my German podcast. I'm uploading publishing a new podcast episode each Wednesday. Usually that's pretty much the schedule that I have right now. Might change in the future, but right now it's pretty much one new episode every Wednesday. All in German about different topics each episode. And yeah, so, and if you like it, feel free to rate it on Spotify, for instance. Give it like a few stars if you want to. Or on Apple, for instance, because that really helps the algorithm and yeah, helps me in a way as a podcaster. And, you know, if you want to, of course, you don't have to, but if you want to, you know, Daumen hoch. thumbs up for you. So hope you're gonna have a great weekend, and I'm gonna work on some new videos for you guys, and you know, stuff like that, basically, which is always fun. So see you next time. Have a great weekend, great night, great morning, great afternoon, great noon, great evening, a great day, a great weekend, a great time. Stay healthy and stay cool. Okay? Okay. See you next time. I'm your Vlog Dave. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye bye.